Welcome back to a brand new episode of Charm City Beat. We are back on the table. We had our own bye week. We're taking the week off, but we're back. The Ravens 6-3 coming out of the bye. What a season it has been. They haven't had a game in the last 23 days, and given some of the injuries that have happened, just getting banged up, couldn't have happened at a better time.
Yeah, and it's pretty remarkable. They were leading in the fourth quarter of every game this year. They could easily be 9-0. Instead, they're 6-3. But agreed. I mean, no game for 23 days. Or one game rather in that span. They're ready to move on to the next half of the season and hopefully, challenge for that first seed in the AFC.
Yeah, like I said, could be 9-0, but we're 6-3. But our defense seemed to be turned around. I'd say that was probably the most relaxing game, the last game against the Saints that we've had.
Right? It was great not to be
nice.
stressed out.
Yeah, it was relaxing. It was nice.
What are those anymore? The Ravens right now with the second easiest schedule. Currently are sitting at the top of the NFC North. 6-3 is not bad. Of course, again, our division not doing super awesome. But the Ravens taking advantage where they can, like you said, should be a 9-0 team possibly. But, where we're sitting isn't bad. A couple of losses and we could be in first place, But, yeah, as I said, second easiest schedule. The rest, rest of the way with every game against a team with a losing record. Fellas, what a better situation.
It's all out there for the Ravens for the taking. You've got opponents like the Jaguars, the Panthers on Sunday, the Falcons, the Steelers twice. They're just god awful this year. The Browns again. I'm super excited for it. I'm not counting my chickens because the Ravens can find a way to lose to anybody, I've learned, and they can beat anybody, I feel like. So it's going to be really interesting. As long as they take care of business and stay healthy, I'd really like them to definitely have a home game come January and hopefully, have a bye. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, second easy schedule. Only Bengals currently the only team with a winning record.
Yeah.
And like I said, but as Jordan said, the Ravens have tend to play down, unfortunately, sometimes to their opponents.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do tomorrow.
Yeah, again, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit. It definitely has the makings of a trap game. Again, who the hell even knows? Carolina's clearing house. Again, you just don't want to fall in. And a lot of these games could be trap games. Again, nothing is guaranteed. It's the NFL. These are professional athletes. No matter what their record are, any given Sunday, shit could change. But yeah, it's definitely looking brighter than it did probably a few weeks ago when we hopped on these cameras. I feel like we've had some tough weeks, but and again, we don't want to be like the Ravens in the fourth quarter early in the season, taking foot off the gas, but it's looking great so far.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't have the number in front of me, but John Harbaugh and the Ravens after a bye week, pretty remarkable stats.
Yeah.
They've had a long time to get ready for the Panthers, who traded away Christian McCaffrey. They are clearly in a state of rebuild. Like, if the Ravens don't win by double digits on Sunday in 36-degree weather, the Panthers are coming up from 60-degree weather. Something's terribly wrong. I'm looking forward to this football game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, the Ravens right now, they have rushed for at least 150 yards in 8 consecutive games. Only 4 teams, the 72 Dolphins and 73 Dolphins, the 75 Steelers, and the 85 Bears. So you have essentially something that hasn't happened since before any of us were born. And you look around 85. No, Jordan, you might not be.
Nope, was not alive.
Nope, not at all. But yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's like they play a different style of football again, and it's interesting to watch around the league. It is a passing league, You know, it's a passing league.
Funny you say that. I've seen something recently that it seems like this year the NFL seemed to be more like the Ravens. I saw one thing they said did the Ravens zig when everyone else zagged?
Yeah.
Did they realize that this passing thing might not hold up? Because I don't have it in front of me, but they showed something that passing was down a little bit and rushing is up.
Yeah. Jordan, you want to take this?
I think it is interesting that you see guys like Aaron Rodgers struggling, Tom Brady struggling, people like Drew Brees out of the league, and the new breed of quarterback is in, and they rely on your legs a little more. And every team seems to be drafting one or two of these guys every year, and I feel like it's just the way the NFL is going. And I honestly think it's Lamar Jackson's fault. I think teams are kind of seeing that they can sort of change the way teams' offensive approach the game. I mean, obviously, I think Pat Mahomes is still the class of the league, but I mean, he sort of led the charge. And then you have like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and now Jalen Hurts. It's all these guys are coming in, and that style of play where the quarterback can also make plays with his legs has changed football, and it's added more running yards, I think, in these games. And you don't need to throw the ball on 3rd and 5 anymore. You don't need to throw the ball on 2nd and 5. And so that's really interesting way the NFL is shifting once again. And it seems like the Ravens are actually at the lead of the pack on this one.
I mean, the Bears are basically themselves are stealing plays from the Ravens. Years ago, everyone was like, Greg Roman's terrible. Get him. We got a Bears stealing plays, and Justin Fields setting a record that surprisingly Lamar didn't have.
I mean, you have Peyton Manning on Monday Night Football saying Greg Roman is one of the best coordinators in the NFL. I mean, you're right. You guys are right. I mean, there is a lot more running. I mean, just look at the Titans, you know, their team is primarily a run first team because Tannehill just isn't it. They drafted Malik thinking they were probably going to try to get some type of that Lamar magic. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. But again, that change in the game, I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen, and it makes the game more exciting, in my opinion. Makes it harder to defend.
I think also it's out of necessity. I think there's a lot of teams that are just in between quarterbacks right now, whether it's the Panthers we're going to see on Sunday or the Saints last week or like the Browns are in flux. The line. I mean, there's so many teams that need quarterbacks right now that they're just running the football out of like sheer necessity. And I think it's kind of compiled into these stats. And then you have guys like Justin Fields, you know, setting NFL records that probably like I'm surprised Lamar Jackson didn't hold to begin with. So it's like it's like I think it's honestly refreshing that teams aren't slinging the football up and down the football field. I think Josh Allen on Sunday might have 500 yards in the dome in Detroit, but we'll see.
Yeah. So is that game for sure happening? Like, were they able to get out?
I haven't heard anything.
I assume they're playing.
Yeah. I mean, Buffalo right now sitting with like 7 feet of snow right now. The pictures coming out of there, insane, absolutely insane. But yeah, back to that. Yeah, I think I mean, for the sake of my fantasy team, Josh Allen better have a damn day. But that's a different story for a different day. Good game, Ross. Good game. But yeah, I mean, you know, and that's the funny thing about the NFL because again, we've said in the past that you know it is a passing league, and now we're it's back to being more of a run heavy league with the quarterbacks getting involved in the run more than ever. It's just it's a great time to be a football fan. Honestly, it's great football to watch. Just hard nosed, close games. I mean, it's just incredible. Anything else?
I know Brandon Marshall came out during the bye and said this might be the greatest Ravens team of all time, and that it might upset Ray Lewis. And I don't agree with Brandon Marshall that I think that the Ravens can be very special this year. I think what made 2012 special is that in the moment we were like, this team is absolute chaos, and I do not see them winning anything. When the Super Bowl, now they're probably part of that conversation. I still think it's the 2000 Ravens or the 06 Ravens, in my opinion. I don't know your guys' thoughts about that, but I think the stories yet to be told for this Ravens team. But I think the talent is there on both sides that they could make history.
Yeah. Ross. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I do agree. that the story is yet to be told. There's a lot of football left. Now, this given the fact that the season is longer, so granted the fact they have potentially to probably have one of the best records in Ravens history. Well, they do have that extra game.
They're already tied for the 06 Ravens. I'm not going to catch the 14-2 Ravens.
Yeah,
14-2 lost 3 games, so they can't beat that.
Yeah, but again, I mean, it's incredible in that sense where you do have the extra games. I mean, if they do go far, say they go far, again, you're looking at another chaotic team, very similar to those 2012 Ravens. It's obviously a different looking Ravens, but the storyline's still there. And again, when you think about it, when you really look at it, I mean, think about who we have coming back. I mean, Brashad Bateman, he's out, rest of the year. But again, you have Mark Andrews, Gus Edwards, Dobbins, Marcus Williams, and Ojabo coming back at the right point. I mean, we're looking at it could not have been written better.
Let's also still not forget about Collar. He'll be back.
That's true.
He can be a more receiving weapon than, like I said, they can't have enough of them.
Yeah, I mean, that is true because, again, we are definitely a receiver-starved team. Again, though, Duvernay has been holding up that room, and I'm so proud of what he's been able to accomplish.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you go. I'm sorry.
No, you go. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Lamar Jackson's contract is still hanging in the air.
Yeah.
And God help the Ravens. If they win the Super Bowl, it's a great story, but it's also they're going to make him the highest paid player in the history of the planet, which I think he should be regardless, and I think he's going to get it anyway. Yeah. But I hope to God that's why it's the Super Bowl. It'd be awesome if he could pull that out and finally get that off his back. Because right now, that's the narrative that's sort of bringing him and the Ravens down. Just can't win the big one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, again, the kid deserves to get paid. There's no doubt about it. We've seen how the Ravens look when he's not 100%. We've seen how the Ravens look without him, and it's not something I want to be a part of. And especially, again, with the dynamics of the NFL changing, I mean, we'd be – if we fumbled that would be bad. That'd be very, very terrible on EDC, that front office, if we somehow fumbled this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But moving on, we do have a lot of season left. And that all starts with the Panthers. Right now, right before we start filming, I saw that Gus Edwards and Mark Andrews are likely to be back in some sort of way, probably on a pitch count. What are your thoughts on that? Because, again, Gus Edwards' leg injury is nothing to play around with.
You can take those off.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Andrews doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's only missed, I think, now 1 game because of injury.
Mm-hmm.
Gus definitely will be on a pitch count. Like I said, luckily his last leg was a hamstring and not knee. So... Yeah. But, I mean, we got with Drake, how Drake's playing, I don't see enough reason to rush Gus.
Yep.
So with Likely, same thing with Andrews, but Andrews is probably going to push more to play than Gus. Because, I mean, you saw Gus was willing to go on the pup to start the year, so he's fine with being patient.
Yeah.
Andrews, he seems like he'd be more one I'm good, now I can go.
I saw a wild stat that Lamar Jackson's runs tick up as the weather gets colder. I think in December he tends to run more than he does in September, and I think that's another way they're going to take the pitch count. But I think Dobbins. I mean, Gus Edwards probably does start tomorrow, and B gets 10 carries probably. Yeah. I'm guessing. I don't think they would start him otherwise. I think they would bring somebody else up. So that's something that I think. I do think Mark Andrews probably is. He probably could have played against the Saints, and they held him out because of just no need. So I'm curious to see how Isaiah Likely now fits into the puzzle if Andrews plays. That's the big thing I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, it would be silly not to incorporate him. Again, this is a very unique player with talents that I think are comparable to a big body wide receiver. But so, I mean, I would be dramatically shocked if he wasn't involved, at least targeting him. I mean, what happens after that is neither here nor there.
Yeah, let's just hope Lamar doesn't get Andrews locked in like he tends to do. Someone mentioned that he actually looked better without Bateman and Andrews because he hit like 10 different wide receiver options.
Yeah,
He likes to, but when Andrews there, he sometimes tend to be like to good old F it, Andrews down there. He needs to remember what he did against the Saints. He needs to keep doing that.
Yeah, I think Mark Andrews, honestly, is his safety blanket. There's no question about it. It's kind of like Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp out in LA. I mean, if Andrews is out there, he's going to get about 80% of the targets. That's just how it is, sadly, because we do see what happens when the ball's spread around. Again, the Ravens' biggest weapon is almost the element of surprise. And when you're spreading the ball around, number one, you actually have to cover everybody. And then you also have to defend against Lamar Jackson's run. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where it just needs to be regular practice. I get it. Mark Andrews is the best tight end in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says, whatever. But the ball needs to be spread around. That simple.
And I don't want to make this comparison necessarily, but I feel like I haven't seen this kind of quarterback play with the receivers like since Tom Brady, who was able to hit all kinds of different guys and make it work.
Yeah.
Lamar did that against the Saints, and I feel like it's a benefit. It's like a testament to Lamar Jackson that he was able to do that, and I think it's the interesting thing that I noticed.
Yeah, exactly. Roquan Smith about to make his home debut, so that he's gonna get to see what the bank is like. That's gonna be exciting.
They better be introducing the defense.
Well, I mean, I guess they are. They are. You're right. They took out the offense against.
They timed up.
You got Roquan coming out, and also David Ajabo possibly will be coming out.
Do you think they'll? Yeah, I guess they'll introduce him, right?
I think so. I think they would, and I wonder if Roquan's last out or if that's Campbell's to lose. Probably Campbell's to lose, but Roquan's going to get himself a nice second to last entrance, and it's going to be berserk.
It's going to be absolutely insane. Again, I just can't get over. How good this defense looks now. I mean, again, we've lost some very close games in the fourth, but the last couple of weeks, it's a new Ravens. It's a new Ravens defense, but it's not new. But I mean, it is new, but it feels like old Ravens. It feels like old, hard-hitting defense. People actually want to hit. And again, we said it a few weeks ago. Roquan Smith was the violence that this team needed.
I mean, you've got guys like Jason Pierre-Paul that are coming off the bench in a rotational role because there's so many pass rushers. I mean, how blessed are the Ravens? Because I remember last year it was like, who's going to be the defensive end that's going to rush because we don't have anybody. Now they have guys like the ageless Justin Houston and Owe, their job, and Bowser, and it's like, and then they can blitz Patrick Queen because Roquan Smith is tackling everything that moves in 25-foot. It's just unbelievable, and I'm so excited for this Ravens defense. I mean, they would have beaten the Giants handedly had they had Roquan because there's no way Barkley was going to get anything.
Clearly, week one, we had two outside linebackers on our roster, and now we're struggling to see who's going to replace who.
Yeah,
like who's Ojabo going to take snaps? That was a field dream week one. We're like, crap. We got Owe and Justin Houston as our only outside linebackers. What the hell are we gonna do? Now we got Owe, Houston, JPP, Bowser. Jabo's gonna be there.
Yeah, it's the best type of issue you could have. Definitely the best type of issue. And you know what? There hasn't been a lot of locker room drama. All the guys seem to be on the same page, and that's the best part. You don't have guys, trying to Madonna out for playing time. It's a good gelling team right now. And again, that's
back up to all pro level.
Huh?
You got Humphreys back playing all pro level up there.
Shut down
corner. You got Marcus Peters back there.
Not to mention Kyle Hamilton coming into his own last week.
Yeah, he has been really awesome to watch ascend, and I feel like his second half is going to be really fun. I think he seems to make a play every game, and I'm just excited to see what it's going to be next week. It could be a fumble recovery, pick, big sack.
It is. But speaking of sacks, our game ball, we got to talk about it, goes to none other than Justin Houston, holding it down for the 30 and over club. 3 tackles, 2.5 sacks, an interception. Interception, ladies and gentlemen. Also, the first player in Ravens franchise history with 3 straight multiple sack games in NFL, and he was also NFL Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, first time in Ravens history. You think about all the defenders we had coming through here, and he's the first. Wow.
Currently NFL sack leaders all were Ravens.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible. Oh man, but no, I mean, definitely we're getting healthy at the right time. The season starts to get a little bit easier. Well, I don't want to say too easy. I don't want to jinx this, but it gets exciting from here on out.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's Thanksgiving week, so Ravens play Sunday, then a lot of football on Thursday. It's the best time of year.
It is. And hey, this is like they say, this is when real football begins. So any last words?
I don't really have anything. I think it's all out there for the Ravens, and they just got to, play their game, continue to run the hell out of the football in the second half of these games, and hopefully they can honestly run the table to the point where they can sit their players against the Bengals in that final week of the year and rest up and maybe get an artificial bye that way. That would be the best. I'm looking, and I think they can do it.
Ross?
No, I agree. I mean, I said it's there for them, there for the taking. The AFC, surprise the East is going to make it complicated, or who wins that is going to help, because unfortunately, the 2 of the top teams, I mean, not anymore, we lost to, but should have beat. But currently, they're all in the playoffs, which is interesting for that division.
Yeah. Again, all it took was Tom Brady to lead the division for the AFC East to all rise. It's been a great season so far. Yeah, it's been an exciting one. Ravens are at a good pinnacle point, and hey, just gotta play Raven football from here. But that does it for our episode tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more, okay? Take care. And we're going to stop.